brace yourself because the madness is coming. Yes, hello and welcome to this week's Women's Football Chat. My name is Chris Gadsby. I'm here every Thursday at 6 p.m, bringing you the very latest from the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England. That's the FA Women's National League. Now, we have got League and Cup and plate, of course, fixtures. Results to go through this week. Plus, we've got a relatively full programme of fixtures coming up this weekend. A few games are off because this weekend is also County Cup Day, the first County Cup Day, but not many teams are involved in that this time around because there aren't that many teams in the county. When you have a knockout throughout the entire season, tends to kick off really next month. But before we get into all of the results and the fixtures coming up, bit of news for you out of the Northern Premier Division from Stourbridge, and that is that the first team manager Andy Fisher has resigned from Stourbridge. They say that his resignation has been accepted with great reluctance following discussions spanning several weeks and which began before the opening game of the season at Nottingham Forest. The Vice Chairman, Andy Bullingham, had asked Andy to continue until both parties had been given breathing space to consider their options. Football at any level takes a great deal out of your personal life and is a commitment way beyond the call of duty. Having been promoted to the third tier of women's football, training 3 times a week has been a tough transition. A personal life and family sit at the heart of everyday life, and as a football manager, this can all too easily be compromised. We therefore support Andy in his decision and wish him all the best in the future. Andy has led the club for an unthinkable hat-trick of promotions and has pushed the boundaries of women's football locally. He has given us difficult decisions to make in order to push things forward, and we as a board have always sought to support him. It has led to the level we are at today, which is beyond anything we could really have imagined when he took the role on 7 years ago. He will be forever remembered at the football club and will be welcomed with open arms at the War Memorial Ground at any time. Thank you for your service, Andy. So, Stourbridge currently without a manager. They are accepting applications for the new manager role at the moment as well. But yeah, Stourbridge without a manager, I don't think it can really be understated just quite how much of a role Andy Fisher has had at that club. As it said there in that article, a hat-trick of promotions from Tier 6 up to Tier 3. Remarkable achievement. And Stourbridge, a heavy defeat at the weekend we'll get on to in a moment. But hopefully they find the feet in Tier 3 and push on for the rest of the season and have a good season. But we'll get into the Northern results. Then you can see there at the bottom that result for Stourbridge this weekend. But we will start with the midweek fixtures at the top there. These two that were on Thursday, Fylde and Burnley. Burnley winning that by 3-0. Leah Embley in the 29th minute and 2 for Amy Kelly. 71st and 92nd minute. Giving Burnley all 3 points, and Halifax beating Huddersfield by 1-0. Darcy Green with the only goal of the game in that one. Into the weekend then, Burnley, another good victory for them. 6 points for the week. 5-1 winners away at Huddersfield Town. Millie Grace Ravening in the 31st and the 40th minute. Amia Coleman-Evans in the 61st. Maria Round Francis Jones, 63rd. And Rema Lord Mears in the 84th. Ferouz Abdullahi getting the only goal for Huddersfield Town. Liverpool Feds with yet another victory at the start of the season, this time against West Bromwich Albion. Goals in this one to Liverpool Feds. Bethany Donoghue early on, 4th minute and 19th minute. Only goal of the game for West Brom coming to Olivia Rabjohn in the 42nd minute. So all of the scoring done before half time at Jericho Lane. Newcastle United 3-1 winners over Stoke City. Goals to Georgia Gibson in the 20th minute and Alicia Body in the 24th. Gave them a good foothold. Stoke did get one back in the second half through Hunt on the hour mark. But then Bridget Galloway, 15 minutes from time, put Newcastle 3-1 in front. Newcastle finished the game with 10. Hannah Greenwood getting sent off for a second yellow card. But Stoke City yet to put the lineup up on full time. So here comes the phrase, that's a fine. 20 quid or so fine to Stoke City. Nottingham Forest 3, AFC Fylde 1. Forest continue their strong start to the season. 2 early goals to May Moncaster, 9th and 11th minute, really putting Forest in control of this one. Then Ginny Lackey got one back for Fylde though, just 7 minutes later. So at the 20-minute mark, it was 2-1 to Forest. Chloe Dixon, just after the half-hour mark, made it 3-1. Again, all the scoring done by half-time. And the final game of the day, Stourbridge 1, Derby County 7. Stourbridge leading at half-time in this one by a goal to nil. Niamh Deasy in the 16th minute with the goal there. But Derby County turning it on in the second half. Charlotte Steggles in the 53rd minute. Then Maria Timms in the 65th. Amy Sims, 66th and 73rd. Amelia Wilson in the 87th, Eleanor Ashton 79th and 90 plus 5. Convincing second half for Derby, 7-1 winners over Stourbridge. Well, that means for the table then, Burnley are top by a point, but have played a game more than Nottingham Forest. Liverpool Feds are in third, again having played the game more than Forest, and Wolves down in fourth. Newcastle down in fifth, but do still have that 100% record, having only played 2 games so far this season. Halifax sixth, Derby County seventh, Stoke City in eighth, West Bromwich Albion ninth, Huddersfield 10th, Stourbridge in 11th, having that single point, and AFC Fylde at the bottom of the table, yet to get off the mark this season. So this weekend is another round of league fixtures. Then we've got Cup next weekend. After that Cup game, the league is starting to take a bit of shape. I'll be adding in the up and down arrows so we can easily see what's happening in the Northern Premier Division and indeed the rest of the tables as well. Further on and then throughout the rest of the season. Let's go through then to the Southern Premier Division. Cheltenham Town 2, Cardiff City 2. This is the other Thursday game. Goals in this one. Kind of a bit of back and forth game, this one really. We had Corey Williams scoring for Cardiff in the 30th minute and Emily Alling scoring for Cheltenham in the 30th minute. Cheltenham then going into the lead early in the second half through Phoebe Poole. 52 minutes on the clock for that one, and Chloe Lloyd 57 minutes. 5 minutes later, they're getting the equaliser for Cardiff City. That's how it finished, and those points were shared. Then at the weekend, Cardiff City losing by 3-2 at home to Rugby Borough. Early goals in this one as well. 2-2 by the 20th minute mark in Wales. Rugby had taken the lead through Sarah Hassanin in the 8th minute before Corey Williams 2 minutes later got one back. It was 1-1. Then Rugby Borough went back into the lead again. Ebony Wiseman just 2 minutes after that. 2-1 to Rugby on the 12-minute mark. An own goal from Rugby brought Cardiff back level. So at 19 minutes it was 2-2. But then in the second half, Angelina Nixon for Rugby, 8 minutes into the second half, got that third goal. And that would prove to be the end of the scoring. So another defeat for Cardiff City. Good away victory for Billericay Town, 6-1 away at London Bees. Goals in this one coming to Alex Hennessy in the 13th and the 89th minute, Maddie Biggs in the 37th and the 51st. Goal also to Ruby Seeley in the 64th and to Zoe Russian in the 89th. Only goal for London Bees coming to Kayla Potter in the 20th minute. Ipswich Town, they left it late but eventually got the 3 points away at MK Dons. Natasha Thomas in the 89th minute scoring, and that would prove to be the only goal of the game between those two sides. And Oxford, much needed victory for them. Zoe Barrett in the 6th minute, Leah Burridge in the 10th, Isabel Cook in the 27th and Sarah King in the 41st. 4-0 up at half-time, and then they just consolidated those 3 points without any further scoring. Plymouth Argyle 3, Cheltenham Town 2. A hat-trick in this one to Ellie Sara for Plymouth Argyle. 12 minutes, 73rd minute and 92nd minute. Goals for Cheltenham, Phoebe Poole in 28th and Emily Owen in the 81st. Those two popping up yet again for Cheltenham Town, but not enough to get anything out of the game this time around. And then in the late kickoff, an early goal for Georgia Griffin meant that Hashtag United beat Portsmouth by a 1-0. If we go through then and have a look at the Southern Premier Division table, Rugby Borough and Hashtag United both still with those 100% records at the top. Ipswich Town 3 points back in third place, Billericay Town in fourth, MK Dons in fifth. Portsmouth and Oxford, neither of those sides have had the starts they would have wanted. They're firmly in the mid-table. And towards the bottom, Cheltenham Town, Plymouth Argyle, Chatham Town in 10th, Cardiff City, the other promoted side from last season, in the relegation zone early doors, and London Bees yet to get off the mark this season. Moving through then into Tier 4, we'll go with the Division 1 Midlands. Leek Town 1, Sheffield 0. This again is from last Thursday. Only goal of the game, Katie Meyer in the 67th minute, giving Leek Town the 3 points. Northampton Town 2, Solihull Moors 2, again from last Thursday. Early goal in this one for Northampton as Okonchiwa Ndefo gets one in the 6th minute. Solihull Moors, though, turned that game around in the second half thanks to Rebecca Knight in the 54th minute and then to Marsha Malik in the 60th minute. 2-1 Solihull Moors leading as they go into added time, but Alexandra Dix in the second minute of added time at the end of the game gets that equaliser for Northampton and gives them a valuable point. Then we move into the weekend. Leek Town getting another victory, 6 points on the week for them. Elise Gindra in the 66th minute and then Chantel Gallagher in the 97th minute. 7 minutes of added time, just getting that insurance marker for Leek Town. 2-0 they win away at Leafield Athletic. Lincoln City 4-0 winners over Northampton Town. This one a hat-trick to Tony McHamilton, 16th, 88th and 93rd minute, plus a goal to Lucy Farrow in the 83rd minute with the other goal for Lincoln. No information about Northampton Town yet on full time, so that's a fine. Sheffield 0, Solihull Moors 2. Solihull Moors with a 2-0 win then away at Sheffield. Rebecca Knight with a goal in the 55th minute and Tiana Russell-Cartwright just into added time. A 2-0 victory for them. And a late winner for Notts County and a valuable 3 points for them against Sutton Coldfield Town, the other promoted side from Tier 5 into Division 1 Midlands. Sutton Coldfield Town had taken a really early 2-0 lead in this one as well, thanks to Olivia Wollaston in the 4th minute and to Chloe Finn in the 6th minute. So 6 minutes in, Sutton Coldfield Town find themselves 2 goals to the good. But Notts County pulled their way back into it. Laura Steele, just before half-time, made it 2-1. Completely changed the team talk at half-time, you would think. And then 2 very late goals. Emma Scoffham in the 86th minute tied the game for Notts County. And then Takia Burnett in the 3rd minute of added time at the end of the game gets that goal that Notts County so desperately needed. 3 goals and 3 points for the Magpies. What that's done for the table is lifted Notts County from the bottom of the table to firmly in mid, because of course we are so early on in the season. Loughborough Lightning, who didn't play in the league this weekend, are still at the top, tied on points with Lincoln and with Leek Town, but they have a game in hand. So Loughborough Lightning will be looking to open that gap up as best they could. Peterborough United and Sporting Cowser are just 1 point back, but they've got a game in hand over Lincoln and Leek as well. So still yet to see who the real front runners are going to be in that division. Sutton Coldfield Town nicely going in mid-table with a couple of wins in their name already. Solihull Moors and Notts County want 2 of 3 teams on 4 points. Northampton Town also on 4. But Solihull Moors have got a game in hand on those sides as well. Boldmere St Michael's, they're in 10th, but they've only played 2. Well, thanks to various things, such as they were supposed to play Loughborough this weekend, but Loughborough were in cup action. Leafield Athletic and Sheffield in the relegation zone at the moment. Division 1 North then. We had up to the north. Hull City 3, Doncaster Rovers Bells 0 on Thursday night. 2 for Hope Knight in this one, 22nd and 90th minute. Helen Linsky in the 39th minute. Also getting there's a mistake on that graphic there. I do apologise. Linsky should be over on the Hull City side. Hull City get all 3 goals. Knight in the 22nd and the 90th, and Linsky in the 39th minute. Doncaster yet to put their squad details up, so that's a fine. Norton Stockton Ancients 1, Chester Street Town 3. Chloe West in the first minute of added time at the end of the first half, with the only goal of the game for Norton Stockton Ancients. Chester Street Town with 2 for Jenny Ashton and 1 for Nicole Havery, getting them 3 points, but we don't have any times on their goals. Then into the weekend, Chester Street Town and Hull City was abandoned at half-time because of a waterlogged pitch. So we move through to Leeds United and Middlesbrough. Ellen Packham with the only goal of the game in that one in the 18th minute. Middlesbrough getting a good win away at Leeds United. No goals between Norton Stockton Ancients and Chorley. And Stockport County 2, Doncaster Rovers Bells 2. This one, then Doncaster Rovers Bells took a 2-goal lead. That was thanks to Ariane Parnham in the 27th minute and Jessica Tugby-Andrew in the 55th minute. So they were 2-0 up. But then with 25 minutes to go, Emily Bradshaw got one back in the 64th. And then with 5 minutes to go of normal time, Maria Figueiredo equalised for Stockport and the game finished 2-2. And then York City, convincing victory at home for them against FC United of Manchester. 2 for Alice Hughes, 17th and 23rd minute. 1 for Ella Duffield just after the half-hour mark. 1 for Felicity Jones just before the hour mark. And 1 for Holly Findlay just after the hour mark. So 5-0, and not a good afternoon for FC United of Manchester. If you look at the table, they are firmly at the bottom with just 1 point from their first 4 games. 2 sides at the top, Barnsley and Hull City, still with their 100% records intact, and neither of which registered a result this weekend. Barnsley's opponent, Durham Sestra, were in the Cup preliminary round, which we'll get onto later on in the show, and Hull City's game with Chester Street Town abandoned at half-time. That will have to be played at a future date. Leeds United, then they lost their 100% record with that defeat to Middlesbrough, who jump up to 4th, nipping at their heels. Norton Stockton Ancients with a 0-0 draw with Chorley. Chorley in 5th, Norton Stockton Ancients just outside then of the relegation zone, thanks to that goalless draw and the point that came with it. They are one of 4 teams on 3 points at the moment. And FC United of Manchester and Chester Street Town, the 2 sides that came up last season, currently occupy the 2 relegation spots. Division 1 South East, then this one more heavily disrupted with the cup and plate draws. So just the cup. The plate was all South West. But London Seaward against Queen's Park Rangers was a Thursday game. Goals in this one to Kasia Pettit, Grace Stanley and Lauren Jordanson, but we don't have times for that. And then just 4 games at the weekend. Draw between Actonians and Ashford Town. Ashford Town with Brogan Moore opening the scoring in the 32nd minute. Actonians equalising in the second half through Williamson, but their information isn't on full time yet, so that's a fine. And then the big result of the weekend, Cheshire United 8, Cambridge City 3. Cambridge City's goals, we don't have information on it yet, that's a fine, in the 17th, the 53rd and the 90+3rd minute. But goals to Cheshire United coming to Gemma Fraser in the 11th and the 28th minute. Natalia Makowska in the 13th, the 40th and the 85th minute. Hat-trick for her. Sasha Smith in the 48th minute. Sophie Mabs in the 68th minute. And Kate Bowers in the 85th minute. Convincing 8-3 victory for Cheshire United. And a 1-1 draw at Carrow Road between Norwich City and Cambridge United. Cambridge United had taken the lead thanks to Isabella Simmons in the 22nd minute. Megan Todd just after the half-time break equalising from the penalty spot for Norwich City. Good game for them at Carrow Road though, and an attendance of 4,849 watching that one. Finally, in Division 1 South East, Worthing 0, London Seaward 3 goals in this one. Megan Burrows, Maisie Cannon and Elizabeth Mulvaney. Again, we don't have times on those goals. The South East table then, Ashford Town remain at the top. They've lost their 100% record though. They are still 2 points clear of Norwich City and 3 points clear of London Seaward, having played the same number of games. Queen's Park Rangers and Worthing are both on 6 points, but they've played a game less. Cambridge United and Actonians on 5 and 4 in the mid-table. Wimbledon and Chesham United in 8th and 9th. Chesham United getting off the mark then with that big victory over Cambridge City. AFC Sudbury outside the relegation zone thanks to their lone point. Haywards Heath Town and Cambridge City at the bottom of the table, having not registered a point yet this season. Into Division 1 South West then, just to finish up on the results. Abingdon United 2, Maidenhead United 0. Goals in this one coming to Amy Chivers in the 26th minute and Leah Francis in the 90th minute. That was the one of the Thursday games in South West. Keynsham Town against Swindon Town, the other Thursday game, but that was a 0-0 draw. Holly Beck Exon with a red card for Swindon in that one. Keynsham Town 7, Portishead Town 1. We're into Sunday games now, so convincing victory for them. Naomi Clipston with 4 goals, Vicky Vipond with 2 and Jade Radburn with 1. Again, we don't have times on the Keynsham goals. Portishead goal came to Amy Clark in the 17th minute. A rearranged game between Maidenhead United and Torquay, because Moneyfields, who were Maidenhead United's opponents, and Abingdon United, who were Torquay's opponents, were both called into the preliminary round of their respective competitions. So Maidenhead and Torquay got together to play out a 3-3 draw. 2 goals for Natalie Cowell in the 18th and the 90+9th minute for Maidenhead. Isabella Stockton in the 30th minute with the other goal. Ree Bailey, Emily Eaton and Esme Kilburn Thompson with the goals for Torquay United. We don't have times on those, but 90+9 Maidenhead's third goal. So it seems very much in a sense of rescuing a point at home to Torquay from Maidenhead United. And finally, for results in the league, we go to Chelsea against Bridgewater United. Goals here to Ellie Bishop in the 11th minute and then Keely Banfield in the 16th minute. And that's how it was when we got to the end of the game. But then Bridgewater United, 3 goals in added time in this one. Bethany Everson in the 3rd minute, Rebecca Moises in the 7th minute and Keely Banfield in the 10th minute of added time. At the end of the second half, 5-0, the convincing victory in the end for Bridgewater United. What it means for the table, Bournemouth and Exeter still both at the top with their 100% records. Keynsham and Maidenhead United nipping at their heels, but they have played a game more. Moneyfield still have a 100% record as well, but they're down in 5th, having only played 2 games in the league so far this season. They're on 6 points. Bridgewater United, good victory for them as leapfrog them up a few places. Abingdon in 7th, Swindon 8th, Portishead 9th. Torquay United outside the relegation zone at the minute thanks to their single point that they gained against Maidenhead United at the weekend. Southampton Women's only played 2, so don't take too much from their position at the moment, down in 11th. Chelsea yet to get off the mark from 4 games played with a -39 goal difference. Right, before we get on to the fixtures, let's have a look at the Cup then. So this is the preliminary round where we get from 36 teams down to 32, or in the Plate's case, 33 teams down to 32. Halifax 4, Sporting Cows 2. Goals in this one for Halifax. Coming to Madeline Oliver in the 22nd minute, 2 for Ellie White, 61st and 88th minute, and Lucy Sowerby in the 90th minute. Goals to Sporting Cowser, Megan Cann in the 26th, and Isabel Austin Short in the 63rd minute. Queen's Park Rangers and Moneyfields, they needed a penalty shootout in order to settle their tie. 2-2 at the end of 90 minutes. 2 for Grace Stanley and 1 for Ellie Seal is the goals for Queen's Park Rangers, but we don't know when their timing was. And then Rosilla Sitars in the 56th minute for Moneyfields, and Canulu Taylor in the 69th minute made it 2-2. That's how it finished at the end of the 90. Into extra time, Taylor got her second on the 102nd minute, and then obviously there was that goal for Queen's Park Rangers that also made it 3-3. Go to a penalty shootout, and Moneyfields win 5-4 in that penalty shootout to go into the Cup, which has been drawn, and it is taking place on the 1st of October, a week on Sunday. We'll be covering that on next week's show. Swindon Town 4, AFC Wimbledon 2. Goals to Swindon in this one: Ellie Stripple, 24th and 77th minute. Annabelle Colston, 45th and 85th minute. With those strikes for Swindon. Ashley Goddard in the 4th minute of added time at the end of the first half, and then Ashley Hinks in the 53rd minute getting the goals for Wimbledon. So with just 15 minutes to go, it was 2-2 before those two late goals for Swindon Town. Finally, in the Cup, in the slightly later kickoff, a 1-0 victory for Durham Sestra away at Loughborough Lightning. Leanna Giles in the 12th minute of extra time, so the 102nd minute, with the only goal of the game between those two sides. And finally, for results, in the Plate, Exeter City against Abingdon United, a 5-1 victory for Exeter. Goals in this one: early goal Sarah Stacey in the 29th minute, Jenna Markham in the 34th, Stacey again then in the 61st minute, Natasha Knapman in the 79th, and Ishbel Zermond in the 87th minute. Lauren May with the only goal for Abingdon at some point in the second half. We don't have a time for that. Moving through then into the fixtures coming up on Sunday. Just Sunday fixtures to be covered on this week's show. There is one midweek game next week, but that's on a Thursday, so I'll cover that on next week's show. AFC Fylde against Stourbridge, the bottom two sides at the moment. They come up against each other on Sunday afternoon, and then the two sides at the top, Burnley against Nottingham Forest. That's the game of the day, really, in the Northern Premier Division. Will Burnley be able to open out a bit of a gap over the Reds, or will Forest get the victory away from home and keep their 100% record? Derby County against Newcastle, another game to watch out for. Derby County with that big win over Stourbridge last weekend. Can they do something against Newcastle? Newcastle on the road. Halifax against Liverpool Feds. Will Liverpool Feds continue their strong start to the season? Stoke City against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's 8th against 4th. Wolves, again, 3 points off the top of the table, but with a game in hand over Burnley. Wolves will be hoping probably for a draw between Burnley and Forest. And West Bromwich Albion against Huddersfield Town. Two sides that have not done what they would have liked to have done so far this season. That is 9th against 10th towards the bottom end of the table. In the Southern Premier Division, Cardiff City make the long journey over to Billericay Town. Billericay Town in 4th, Cardiff City currently in the relegation zone. Cheltenham Town against Milton Keynes Dons is 8th against 5th. Two sides that want to kickstart their season, really. Ipswich Town against London Bees, that's 3rd against 12th. London Bees yet to get a point this season. Oxford United against Plymouth Argyle is 7th against 9th. Another key fixture for both of those sides to get some points on the board early. Rugby Borough against Hashtag United. The two 100% sides come up against each other in rugby. And so there'll be 100% record at least will have gone by the time we get to next week. Hashtag United, of course, who have already beaten Oxford, Portsmouth and Ipswich in this campaign, now come up against Rugby Borough. And Chatham Town down in 10th come up against Portsmouth, who are in 6th. In the Division 1 Midlands, just 5 games because Sheffield are in their County Cup action, so their game has been postponed. So Lincoln City against Boldmere St Michael's, that's 2nd against 10th. Loughborough Lightning, the current top side, against Sporting Cowser, who are in 5th. Notts County, after their late goal victory last weekend, they take on Leaford Athletic, who are currently in 11th. Leek Town against Peterborough United, 3rd against 4th, with both sides having the opportunity to possibly be topped by the end of the day. And Solihull Moors against Sutton Coldfield Town is 6th against 7th. Very much a mid-table game so far there. Similar situation in Division 1 North, Doncaster in County Cup action, so their game is off. Barnsley, the current leaders and on a 100% record, take on York City, who are down in 8th. FC United of Manchester desperately need to get some points on the board. They've got Chester Street Town, who are in 11th and also want more points on the board. So it's going to happen for one of those sides at least this weekend. They are the bottom 2 at the moment. Hull City against Norton Stockton Ancients. Hull, of course, still with a 100% record because their game was abandoned at the weekend. Norton Stockton Ancients with 3 draws out of 4 games so far this season. That gives them their 3 points. Leeds United against Durham Sestra, 3rd against 9th. And Middlesbrough take on Stockport County, that is 4th against 7th. Moving through then into Division 1 South East, couple of leagues to go. Ashford Town against Cambridge City. Ashford Town 2 points clear at the top. Cambridge City yet to get a point so far this season. Cambridge United, they take on Actonians. That's 6th against 7th. Norwich City against Haywards Heath Town is 2nd against 11th. Haywards Heath also yet to get off the mark this season. So the top 2 facing off against the bottom 2 this weekend. Queen's Park Rangers against Worthing, 4th against 5th. 2 sides that have won 2 and lost 1 this season. They'll both be looking to push further up the table. And AFC Wimbledon against Chesham United. Wimbledon in 8th, Chesham in 9th. Chesham coming off the back, of course, of that big win against Cambridge City last weekend. And finally, into Division 1 South West, it's Bournemouth against Maidenhead United. Bournemouth currently top, Maidenhead in 4th, so potentially quite a good game going on there. Bridgewater United against Abingdon United is 6th against 7th. A lot of 6th against 7th so far coming up on this weekend. Moneyfields against Portishead Town is 5th against 9th. Chelsea, they take on Exeter City. Probably going to be a tough game for them. They're on minus 39 goal difference after just 4 games. Exeter City with a perfect record and sit in 2nd. Swindon Town take on Southampton Women's. That's 8th against 11th. And Torquay United, who are in 10th, take on the current 3rd place Keynsham Town. So those are the games coming up this weekend. We'll have obviously a full rundown of those on next week's show. Plus we'll look ahead to that one midweek game in Division 1 South East. And then it's the first round of the Cup and Plate competitions with all 32 remaining sides in each competition in action. You can see on the board it's going to get quite crazy over the next few weeks. We've got, as I said, it's County Cup Day this weekend, as well as it's County Cup this weekend, and then it's not the first round of the Cup. I'm getting myself confused now. It's not the first round of the Cup next weekend. It's another set of league next weekend. The first round of the Cup is on the 1st. Then on the 15th, it's another County Cup Day. The 22nd of October is the 3rd round qualifying of the FA Cup, and all Tier 4 teams are in that. And then on the 29th, it's the 2nd round of the Cup and the Plate. So in the 7 weeks that are on the board, we've got 2 County Cup days, 2 League Cup days, and an FA Cup day. It is going to start getting very messy in terms of postponements and everything like that. Sorry, I'm getting myself all in a mess rather than I'm trying to preview. I'm previewing the Cup on next week's show. It isn't the Cup on next week's show. I know what I mean. No, I really don't, because I'm not even previewing the Cup on next week's show. Oh, ignore me. Right. Lots of other things going around in my head, which I'll explain more on next week as well. So next week, it's normal. We've got the league results to have a look at and league results and league fixtures to go on to. Normal service will be resumed in a few weeks' time. That'll do it for this week's Women's Football Chat then. My name is Chris Gadsby. If you're not already part of Predictor League, do get involved in the Predictor League. We've got some great competition going on in the early stages of these weeks. But that will about do it for this week's Women's Football Chat. Go to www.womensfootballchat.wordpress.com for more articles, opinions, and the Predictor League sign up. Thank you very much for watching and or listening to this week's Women's Football Chat, and goodbye.